Hey y'all, and welcome to Politibrawl. My name is Brian, and JD Vance just walks into this North Carolina fire station, and what happens next is really just more than just the Appalachian spirit in JD Vance. It's why the American people trust him, and by extension, Donald Trump. Let's dive in.
At the time of the storm taking place, when it hit, it was about 4:30 a.m. on the 27th, and we had about 20 evacuees in the building that had evacuated from their homes due to damage or hazards, and they were in here at that time. We were in the works of getting them out, so we were going through, and you can see some pictures in there as well of us getting them in the fire trucks and going through the flood water to a safer area. We went up to a church on Church Road, and before we could get everyone up and all of our food and water, we were trying to get basic necessities, survival necessities up there. The water started receding. So it went up. It went up in about 3 hours, the constant rise, and went down in about an
But
hour.
we had no clue how far it was going.
Yeah,
we was watching out the back door rotate houses this direction. So
There's a picture of that as well. The house just across the road got turned about 90 degrees.
So we
it's
had
a
to get
full-size ranch-style home.
Got turned 90 degrees and basically set down?
Yeah.
Jeez.
So it went up with the water, turned 90 degrees, and set back down.
In a matter of hours,
Yes, sir.
basically.
Well, that wasn't just a matter. Well,
Matter of
I mean,
minutes.
a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
Once they noticed the water start coming around the parking lot, they noted because we couldn't really see back here. I mean, nobody was really looking out. We're mainly operating out of the front of the station, and when they started seeing it going around the building, they realized something's bad wrong, and they came and looked and realized that the creek out here had elevated so high that it was coming against the building. And pretty much by the time they started telling everybody, let's get our cars moved, let's figure out what we're going to do, the water came up so fast they literally just started having to put evacuees into fire trucks and try to get out. And before they could even get to Charlotte Highway around the building, they had to turn around and come back through 3 feet of water. It came up to about 3 feet of water in a matter of minutes.
Yeah. Well, Chief, how many people you all have here at, night, 11 o'clock at night? How many people normally you have here?
Probably, 6 or 8 here at night.
the station,
And
yes.
most of them are sleeping or were sleeping in one of these rooms, okay?
yeah, we have 2 other stations as well, about 12 to 15 total a shift.
Yeah. Okay.
And then when that storm actually happened, like during the night, I think it was around 4:30, 5-ish. It was still really dark. We had all 3 of our stations were all isolated from each other because of the storm damage. We had our station 2. They ended up on a little island, and you can see in here in the pictures here in just a minute. But they ended up being forced back to the station, and then the water came up all the way around it, and they were basically stuck on an island. Captain Hill here was at our station 3. The bridge got some damage and debris on it to access the back road where our station is located. Well, he lived 3 days, and him and his crew lived 3 days under the gas station awning that you pass coming in here. So that's where they had to stay for literally
not
3
to
days.
stay 3 days. Yeah.
So Tom, who's going to pay to rebuild all of them? Is this a FEMA thing that's going to help?
It'll be a combination. If you take a look at the roughly $50 billion in damage in North Carolina alone, it'll backfill some of it. We're gonna, but beyond that, it's the funds that we use to rebuild the Canton Fire Department were additional grants, not directly out of FEMA.
Okay.
So a lot of the tail of everything we're going to have to do to rebuild the communities are not necessarily in this initial tranche of disaster response. That's why I've been trying to explain to some folks that are saying, "Oh, we got to start at $30 billion." That doesn't even cover 2/3 of what North Carolina needs. Not to mention South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, all the ones that got hit by Debbie, got hit by Milton, got hit by Helene.
Got it. Okay. What do you all need? Just help rebuilding this fire station? I mean, what else?
To be honest with you, we have a great insurance company, and they're taking care of all this. Our main need to us is our community.
Yeah. Just helping people rebuild.
Y'all, that's the Appalachian spirit right there. JD Vance, thank you. All right? Granted, you're technically a Yankee, but you're also an Appalachia boy. All right? I'm from the very edge of the Piedmont, just north of Atlanta. And you can tell I still have a bit of a southern drawl. JD Vance has a rural drawl. But you can tell he's not exactly southern. You can hear it in these gentlemen's voices. And you know what? Let me pull up a map here real fast. Yeah, the area around Asheville, this was taking place in Fairview, North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. And Fairview is a bowl, apparently, because part of their creeks and streams flow from the west, while another part comes from the comes from the east, while another part comes from the north and west. So it kind of converges there and then runs back south. And so you have this convergence of water. And so apparently what happened at this fire station is you already were having a whole bunch of people who were fleeing their homes and fleeing the floodwaters. And then you realize, oh, things are getting better. The water's going down. No, the water found a new channel and was messing everything up behind them. Communications got cut. They couldn't drive in between their other fire stations up and down this route. And it's not far outside of Asheville. And Asheville, it's if you're a Texan, you'll understand it when I say keep Austin weird. Yeah, Asheville is the Austin of Appalachia, so to speak. So if you know what I mean by that, well, congratulations. It's the hub of all the lefties and liberals because they go up there and they sell their little art stands and they make fudge. That's the Asheville, North Carolina experience. Compare that to Pigeon Forge. That's the Redneck Alps over there. And they got hit hard too, but North Carolina got hit particularly hard, and I've mentioned that on this channel all along. But there's something very interesting about this, and it's not the fact that J.D. Vance is asking the important questions. What do you need? All right, that is the most important question you can ask here. But you know what? There's something that I really want to bring up here. And if you've been following the news, you know that there was an assassination of, I think, the head of United Healthcare. Or was it a Blue Cross Blue Shield? No, I think it was United Healthcare. In New York City early in the morning, just the other day. And the assassin is still at large. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because of what I've seen in response to this on Facebook, on Twitter. The people reacting to this are reacting with laugh reacts. They're reacting with, a CEO passed away. How terrible. Well, first off, that's a human being. Second off, you don't know how insurance works. And third off, they're liberals. If they understood economics, they wouldn't be liberals. And so this mentality of, well, we just hate these CEOs, period, and whatever happens, happens. They have that same exact mentality of the people of rural Appalachia. That's been the Northeast, the West Coast mentality against rural people pretty much ever since America got started. Now, there's a longer story to go to that and a much longer conversation, but that's not what we're here for. We're here to remind y'all that insurance is actually a good thing. What they try to do is maximize profits, and when you have flood insurance, when you have different kinds of insurance to protect you against acts of God and then these floods, which that's a huge problem in this whole section here, because this area, if it gets enough rain, it'll flood worse than a floodplain. And so, yeah, to have that mentality of screw you insurance instead of no, insurance is actually helping us more than FEMA. Let that just sink in very briefly. You have these lefty lunatics who are celebrating the death of the CEO, and meanwhile, those same companies and their affiliates are helping rural people who are still having trouble getting back on their feet after the worst flooding event in perhaps recorded history of this region. That's the kind of fight that we're up against. And I talk about rich white liberals and then living in their ivory towers and then having the entire news media just cater to them and their whims. No, this is something new. This is the children of rich white liberals. These are the kids who have come up through our education system and have had so much they've been brainwashed, for lack of a better word, to believe that anyone in capitalism is evil. When the reality is, they have no sense of morality, no sense of good judgment, and they don't care about their fellow man. Just period. All the while, they're telling themselves they're good people. You know what good people are? Good people are those who are working it for Samaritan's Purse, who are out there picking up the debris and trying to make the roads clear again. Those are your heroes. Those are your good people. That's Appalachia. That's the Appalachian know-how in a nutshell. J.D. Vance is the perfect person to come down and talk to these people, even though he doesn't have a southern accent. He understands these business folks' plight. He understands how tough it is to be a firefighter in a region that, let's be honest, is still reeling from a fentanyl crisis, and you wonder why they care about illegal immigration and the border. Funny how that works. Ultimately, this is the Appalachian mindset. This is the tough know-how of the people from this region. I am proud that my roots are from there, even though my roots are actually in Chattanooga and North Georgia. I am proud to know that that mountain-strain mentality still lives in America today. And it's one of the greatest things that I can be proud of, because your heritage, no matter where you come from, is worth celebrating. Particularly when it rears its head and helps out their fellow neighbors like these firefighters, and of course J.D. Vance has lived among these sort of people. This is what we need leading America, and that's a big reason why he and Trump won this election. And I'm very proud of them and the people who are helping their neighbors. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on Politibrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Until then, y'all have a good one.